The man accused of shooting 3 Palestinian students in Burlington, Vermont, has pleaded not guilty to attempted murder. Jason Eaton was arrested Sunday afternoon, less than 24 hours after the shooting occurred. Police say there is not yet enough evidence to support charging him with a hate crime. Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders joins us now. Senator Sanders, thanks so much for being with us. You called this shooting shocking. What has the response been in your home state, and how is the community coping?
It is, people are outraged. They are horrified. I live 2 miles away from where the shooting took place. It's just hard to believe that 3 young men walking down the street on Thanksgiving weekend can get shot. It's incomprehensible. But I have to say that the fear is that this type of hatred that we're seeing is taking place all over America. We're seeing an increase not only in Islamophobia, but in anti-Semitism as well. And this is something we've got to get a handle on.
Yeah, I was going to say, even though police say there's not enough evidence yet to charge the suspect with a hate crime, we know the Justice Department is still looking into that possibility. But, what do you make of this reported rise that we've been seeing in both anti-Semitism and Islamophobia in this country since the war between Israel and Hamas started?
I think it's a horrible thing. God knows this country has gone through enough with bigotry and racial hatred and everything else. And I think what we have got to determine, people can have disagreements on political issues, but we've got to tone down this hatred. We've got to talk to each other. We've got to work things through. But I am very worried about the rise, both in Islamophobia and anti-Semitism, that we are seeing.
As we've been reporting, Israel and Hamas have agreed to extend this humanitarian pause for the next 2 days. What is your reaction to that news?
Well, I think it's great news. I think it means more hostages are going to be released. And equally important, it means that that in the midst of this terrible humanitarian disaster that we're seeing in Gaza, where over 1 million people have been displaced from their homes, not enough food, not enough water, not electricity, not fuel, that we're now seeing a substantial increase in those basic necessities coming into Gaza, which means that thousands of lives are going to be saved. So that is a very positive development.
You recently wrote an op-ed suggesting that there should be conditions to the U.S. relationship with Israel and that the blank check approach must end. The White House argues it is not a blank check, although we did hear the president over the weekend say that conditioning aid may be a worthwhile thought. How do you respond?
Well, this is how I respond. Look, Israel was attacked in an absolutely horrific way by Hamas. 1,300 innocent people were slaughtered. Israel has a right to defend itself. But what Israel does not have a right to do, in my view, is to kill 12,000 people in 6-7 weeks, 2/3 of whom are women and children. That they don't have a right to do. That's a violation of international law. The United States has always provided support for Israel. I think we have to continue to make sure that Israel can defend itself. But we also have a right to say to Israel, I'm sorry, you can't just do all kinds of bombing, which are killing innocent men, women, and children. And also, in talking to a very right-wing Netanyahu government, we have got to say, you know what, we need some thoughts and movement forward toward a 2-state solution to deal with the crisis in the West Bank, where Palestinians are being thrown off of their land and are being killed. So we need, in my view, to say, if you want money from the United States, you know what, you got to hear what we want as well. We just can't get a blank check.
And then just very briefly, I know Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer has made clear that he wants to try to tee up a vote as soon as next week on a foreign aid supplemental to help Israel, Gaza, Ukraine, and deal with other foreign priorities. Do you think that's possible?
Well, I don't know if it's possible, but I would just say I think there are a number of us who do have a concern about a very large blank check for Israel if there are not conditions attached to it.
And what about Republicans trying to condition aid to Ukraine on border security? Is that something you may be open to?
Well, I believe that it is terribly important that we stand up to Putin's aggression in Ukraine. If he is successful in defeating the people of Ukraine and taking over that country, I think there will be more efforts on his part to expand his imperialistic goals.
And
so I think we've got to stop him.
And sorry to interrupt you, Senator, but before we let you go, we have seen a wave of announcements in these last couple of weeks of members of both the House and Senate announcing either their retirements or that they're not seeking a re-election, so much so it's happening at a record rate. When will you make a decision about your re-election?
Well, as soon as I can. I think right now we are dealing with, as you well know, enormous issues. I want to focus on those issues, but I will be speaking to the people of the state of Vermont in a reasonably short period of time.
All right, Senator Bernie Sanders of Vermont, thank you so much.
Thank you.